William John Banville, who writes as John Banville and sometimes as Benjamin Black, is an Irish novelist, adapter of dramas, and screenwriter, recognized for his precise, cold, forensic prose style, Nabokovian inventiveness, and for the dark humor of his generally arch narrators. Banville is considered to be one of the most imaginative literary novelists writing in the English language today. Quote, "He has been described as the heir to Proust via Nabokov." Banville has received numerous awards in his career. His novel The Book of Evidence was shortlisted for the Booker Prize and won the Guinness Peat Aviation Award in 1989. His 14th novel, The Sea, won the Booker Prize in 2005. In 2011, Banville was awarded the Franz Kafka Prize, while 2013 brought both the Irish Pen Award and the Austrian State Prize for European Literature. In 2014 he won the Prince of Asturias Award in Letters. He is considered a contender for the Nobel Prize in Literature. Banville's stated ambition is to give his prose the kind of denseness and thickness that poetry has. He has published a number of crime novels as Benjamin Black, most featuring Quirk, an Irish pathologist based in Dublin. He was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society of Literature in 2007. Biography. William John Banville was born to Agnes and Martin Banville, a garage clerk in Wexford, Ireland. He is the youngest of 3 siblings. His older brother Vincent is also a novelist and has written under the name Vincent Lawrence as well as his own. His sister and Veronica Vonnie Banville Evans has written both a children's novel and a memoir of growing up in Wexford. Banville was educated at CBS Primary, Wexford, a Christian Brothers school, and at St. Peter's College, Wexford. Despite having intended to be a painter and an architect, he did not attend university. Banville has described this as the great mistake. "I should have gone. I regret not taking that 4 years of getting drunk and falling in love. But I wanted to get away from my family. I wanted to be free." Alternately, he has stated that college would have had little benefit for him. "I don't think I would have learned much more, and I don't think I would have had the nerve to tackle some of the things I tackled as a young writer if I had been to university. I would have been beaten into submission by my lecturers." Quote, "After school he worked as a clerk at Aer Lingus, which allowed him to travel at deeply discounted rates. He took advantage of this to travel in Greece and Italy. He lived in the United States during 1968 and 1969. On his return to Ireland, he became a sub-editor at the Irish Press, rising eventually to the position of chief sub-editor. Since 1990, Banville has been a regular contributor to the New York Review of Books. After the Irish Press collapsed in 1995, he became a sub-editor at the Irish Times. He was appointed literary editor in 1998. The Irish Times, too, suffered severe financial problems, and Banville was offered the choice of taking a redundancy package working as a features department sub-editor. He left, writing. Banville published his first book, a collection of short stories titled Long Lankan, in 1970. He has disowned his first published novel, Night's Spawn, describing it as crotchety, posturing, absurdly pretentious. Banville has written 3 trilogies. The first, the Revolutions trilogy, focused on great men of science and consisted of Dr. Copernicus, Kepler, and the Newton letter. He said he became interested in Kepler and other men of science after reading Arthur Koestler's The Sleepwalkers. He realized that, like him, scientists were trying to impose order in the work. The second trilogy, sometimes referred to collectively as Frames, consists of the Book of Evidence, with several of its characters being featured in Ghosts. Athena is the third to feature an unreliable narrator and explore the power of works of art. The third trilogy comprises Eclipse, Shroud and Ancient Light, all of which concern the characters Alexander and Cascleve, beginning with Christine Falls, published in 2006. Banville has written crime fiction under the pen name Benjamin Black. He writes his Benjamin Black crime fiction much more quickly than he composes his literary novels. He appreciates his work as Black as a craft, while as Banville he is an artist. He considers crime writing, in his own words, as being cheap fiction. In a July 2008 interview with Juan José Delaney in an Argentine paper, La Nation, Banville was asked if his books had been translated into Irish. He replied that nobody would translate them and that he was often referred to pejoratively as a West Brit. Banville is highly scathing of all of his work, stating of his books, "I hate them all. I loathe them. They're all a standing embarrassment." Instead of dwelling on the past, he is continually looking forward. You have to crank yourself up every morning and think about all the awful stuff you did yesterday, and how you can compensate for that by doing better today. Quote, he does not read reviews of his work as he already knows better than any reviewer the places in which its faults lie. Style. Banville is considered by critics as a master stylist of English, and his writing has been described as perfectly crafted, beautiful, dazzling. David Mahegan of the Boston Globe calls him one of the great stylists writing in English today. Don DeLeo describes his work as dangerous and clear-running prose. Val Nolan in the Sunday Business Post calls his style lyrical, fastidious, and occasionally hilarious. The Observer described the Book of Evidence as flawlessly flowing prose whose lyricism, patrician irony and aching sense of loss are reminiscent of Lolita. Banville has said that he is trying to blend poetry and fiction into some new form. He is known for his dark humor and sharp, wintry wit. In 4 of Banville's novels, he has used the trope of a character's eyes darting back and forth like a spectator at a tennis match. Influences. Banville said in an interview with the Paris Review that he liked Vladimir Nabokov's style. However, he went on, "But I always thought there was something odd about it that I couldn't quite put my finger on." Then I read an interview in which he admitted he was tone deaf. Quote, he is highly influenced by Heinrich von Kleist, having written adaptations of 3 of his plays and having used Amphitryon as a basis for his novel The Infinities. Banville has said that he imitated James Joyce as a boy. "After I'd read The Dubliners, and was struck at the way Joyce wrote about real life, I immediately started writing bad imitations of The Dubliners." Quote, however, The Guardian reports, Banville himself has acknowledged that all Irish writers are followers of either Joyce or Beckett, and he places himself in the Beckett camp. Quote, he has also acknowledged other influences. During a 2011 interview on The Charlie Rose Show, Rose asked, "The guiding light has always been Henry James," and Banville replied, "I think so. I mean, people say, you know, I've been influenced by Beckett and Nabokov, but it's always been Henry James, so I would follow him. I would be of Jamesian." Private life. Banville married American textile artist Janet Dunham, and the 2 sons are now adults. They met during his visit to San Francisco in 1968, where she was a student at the University of California, Berkeley. Dunham described him during the writing process as being like a murderer who's just come back from a particularly bloody killing. They have separated. Banville lives with Patricia Quinn, a former head of the Arts Council of Ireland. They have 2 daughters together. In 2011, he offered to donate his brain to the Little Museum of Dublin, so visitors could marvel at how small it was. Awards and honors. Banville won the Booker Prize in 2005, after having been on the short list in 1989. His later work was contending with novels by Kazuo Ishiguro, Julian Barnes, Alice Smith, Sebastian Barry and Zadie Smith. The judges' vote was split between Banville and Ishiguro, and chairman of judges John Sutherland cast the winning vote in favor of Banville. Earlier that year, Sutherland had written approvingly of Ian McEwan's novel Saturday. Banville strongly criticized the work in the New York Review of Books. Banville later admitted that, upon reading Sutherland's letter in response to his review, he had thought, "Hell, I can kiss the book goodbye. I have not been the most popular person in London literary circles over the past half year, and I think it was very large of Sutherland to cast the winning vote in my favor." Banville was noted for having written a letter in 1981 to The Guardian requesting that the Booker Prize, for which he was runner-up to the shortlist of contenders, be given to him so that he could use the money to buy every copy of the long-listed books in Ireland and donate them to libraries, thus ensuring that the books not only are bought but also read. Surely a unique occurrence. When The Book of Evidence was shortlisted for the 1989 Booker Prize, Banville said a friend, whom he described as a gentleman of the turf, instructed him to bet on the other 5 shortlistees, saying it was a sure thing, since if I won the prize I would have the prize money, and if I lost one of the others would win. But the thing baffled me and I never placed the bets. I doubt I'll be visiting Ladbrokes anytime soon. In 2011, Banville was awarded the Franz Kafka Prize. Marcel Reich-Ranicky and John Calder featured on the jury. Banville described the award as one of the ones one really wants to get. It's an old-style prize and is an old codger. It's perfect for me. I've been wrestling with Kafka since I was an adolescent, and said his bronze statuette trophy will glare at me from the mantelpiece. List of works: short story collection Long Lankan, novels Night Spawn, Birchwood, The Revolutions Trilogy, Dr. Copernicus Kepler, The Newton Letter, Mephisto, The Book of Evidence, Ghosts, Athena, The Ark, The Untouchable, Eclipse, Shroud, The Sea, The Infinities, Ancient Light, The Blue Guitar, Plays the Broken Jug, after Heinrich von Kleist, Sea Change, Dublin 1742, God's Gift, a version of Amphitryon by Heinrich von Kleist, Love in the Wars, Conversation in the Mountains, Non-Fiction Prague Pictures, Portrait of a City, as Benjamin Black, Quirk series Christine Falls, The Silver Swan Elegy for April, A Death in Summer, Vengeance, Holy Orders, Even the Dead, The Lemur, The Black-Eyed Blonde, a Philip Marlowe novel, Wolf on a String,